Get him back. Let's see if we can do this in 10 minutes. My lunch break, so I don't have enough time. But anyway, gonna rush through it. Maybe in the weekend we can get into details about it. So I'm all be content I'm over there, can't tell you, but just to go over a few issues that obviously are trending on social media, Gambian social media. First is this immigration scheme. That's what I want to call it. It is a scheme. Kuolka started. Before elections, this is how they steal elections. Immigration sending officials to Mauritania to issue ID cards. That's what Standard newspaper says, to issue ID cards. Not for any other reason. And the explanation they're giving is because some Gambians, a lot of Gambians, or a large number of Gambians are in Mauritania. And because of security issues in Mauritania, some of them will be subject to deportation if they cannot regularize their status. So now, Gambia immigration is going to Mauritania to issue ID cards. The question is, how do those ID cards will be more like status regularized than yadi? I joke and interbeja. You call it Portland. Gambia immigration can ID card into Purikan and maybe Mauritania has a different set of laws, but how does that help anybody? You broke their immigration laws, you are there illegally or something along those lines, not because your ID card expired. Gambia embassy or Mauritania. With all those people in Mauritania, why can they help those Gambians renew their documents? Mauritania is not a part of ECOWAS. So that means Gambia not on Mauritania, I have a passport. ECOWAS like a travel, if I have a Gambia do Senegal ID card, passport table. That's, because Senegambia and also ECOWAS. But you cannot do the same with Mauritania. They are not part of ECOWAS. So which means those people, passport is what needs to be renewed, not their ID card. Why are they issuing that? So you know a problem. If you make a letter and sign, but meeting okay, like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, the NPP coalition with APRC all came together, did a meeting. 2 days later, immigration is sending a team to Mauritania to go and register, or well, that's what I want to call it, register voters, to go and issue ID cards to Gambians there because they need to regularize their status. What sense does that even make? What capacity does Gambia immigration or Gambian laws have when it comes to Mauritanian laws regarding immigration? What sense does that make? What do you need an ID card for outside of your country? Nobody asks you for an ID card. They ask you for your passport and your visa. So they are going there. When it comes to election time, 2026, we see 50 buses coming, 30 buses, 100 buses. These are Mauritanians who have come back to Gambia to vote. And then we raise questions, like everybody is raising questions today. I saw Marijuari also posted something regarding this. There's no transparency in it. Once we see those buses coming from Mauritania saying they're coming to vote, and we raise questions, how do we verify that these are actually Gambians? Tribalism, they think they own this country. They don't want people to vote. They think they own this country. This all tribalism, blah, blah. That's what it's going to lead to. But when it's happening right now, nobody wants to say anything. They're just sitting and watching it happen. Why would you issue ID cards to people in Mauritania when people in the Gambia cannot get ID cards? Why? It's a scheme. So this is what it leads to. When people try to verify the identity of people that are registered to vote in the country, they get assaulted, which brings me to my next point. Ibrahim Adiba and Co., election monitoring team or election credibility team that was going around the country, making sure people are not registered who are not Gambian, they got attacked in Fonyi. I think it was in Kanilai. I just shared a video for that. He was wounded and ended up in Bayam Hospital to get his wound dressed. He was joking about it actually. But they were assaulted inside Fonyi. They broke the windshield of those cars or pickup trucks that went into Fonyi. What did Barrow do about it? Nothing. What did their government do about it? Nothing. The same people who are online today making all kinds of noise. They were celebrating it. UDP thinks they own this country. They're going into people's communities trying to verify who is a citizen, who is not a citizen. That's exactly what they were saying. But today, one thing people need to know, UDP will stand up for itself. It doesn't matter what. When we say never again, we mean never again. The government can cut corners. The government can, dilly-dally. They can use politics just to maintain their political advantage by not following through with what the TRRC said. Their never again is dead. But for us, it's not. Yeah, Jammeh from 96 to 2016 was abusing UDP, killing our people. You know the most popular names like, Solo Sandenyol, Kanyiba Kanyanyol that was disappeared and nobody ever saw where they were, Solo Kurumanyol, all of them. So many dead people. Bute Boynyol from 1996 that Yankuba Ture and people beat at Denton Bridge. Women had miscarriages and stuff. That was all against the UDP. One of our people from SO that I'm actually close to, we used to live together in the same place in Ibo Town, Usman Size, they shot him and killed him in Talinde, in the head, because he was wearing a UDP flag around his wrist. During those, all of that happened. So when we say never again, it's not happening on the Barrow. We're not going to stand for it. So when people come out and say this is not happening again over our dead bodies, that's what we mean. Instead of you saying, oh, here there are violence, tell the government to act right. That's the only solution. You obey the rule of law. When they attacked Yakumba, took her out of the National Assembly, did we go down and burn the National Assembly? No. We followed the court proceedings. When we said the elections were stolen, did you see us go out and burn people's stuff down or riot? No. We went to court, even though we didn't have any confidence in the courts. When they assaulted or attacked Ibrahim Adiba, did you see us go and attack any people? No. So many different cases that happen in that country. What do? We go to court. Even though the courts will rule against us. And the same people will come out and say, oh, look at them, a team of lawyers, a party of lawyers, and they lose court cases. When you don't even know that every legal situation has prosecution and has a defense. Even in the US here, where they say it's the bastion of democracy, you have the conservatives who interpret the law one way and the liberals who interpret it a different way. But they will laugh and say a team of lawyers, a party of lawyers, and they lose a court case. It is fun for them. So when they beat UDP people, they kill UDP people, they should stop provoking the government. They should, just be like everybody else. That's the excuse they give. That means UDP deserves it. They cannot stand up for themselves. Our job as opposition is to speak out. And they cannot shut us up. That's not going to happen. We will speak. Even if UDP disintegrates today, there are Gambians who are speaking inside the UDP. We're all Gambians. Even if the party disintegrates, we will still be here. We will hold the government accountable. We will say what they are doing wrong and what they are not supposed to be doing that they are doing. We will call it out. So what are they going to do? What are you going to say then? Oh, these Gambian people, they talk too much. Just take UDP out of the equation. We are Gambians. But for some people, it doesn't matter. We are second-class citizens. We have no rights. You talk, you should be quiet. You get assaulted, you deserve it. You defend yourself, why are you trying to create problem in the country? We are not going anywhere. That's the fact of the matter. The solution is let the government observe the rule of law. Is that simple. Everybody knows. Anybody who is sincere knows that Adama Barrow and his government are doing nothing except 100% trying to undermine these local administrations that are run by UDP. Everybody knows that. Anybody who is sincere in the Gambia, you know that. They will sabotage them. They will undermine them. They don't give them any subvention as it is required by law. They have no respect for them, no regard for them. They have no recognition for the authority of the people of West Coast region, of KMC, of LRR, for voting for somebody other than who Barrow handpicked for them. That is why when they want to do these demolitions, even though they know the rule of law would require that, hey, markets are run by local councils. There are people who have set up markets in areas they are not supposed to set it up. Let's go to the chairman of the West Coast region. Let's go to the mayor of KMC. Tell them, hey, because of road safety reasons, these people cannot be here. So here is a time frame. Try to relocate them to a certain place so that the roads can be safer. We don't want them in this place. If you don't have enough markets, go negotiate with the Ministry of Local Government or the central government. Let's figure out a solution. They don't do that. They just come into the administrative area, go into those locations, start destroying people's properties. Molia complain all the time. They didn't do anything. People start laughing and, point the fingers. Oh, road safety is needed. This is how African countries develop, blah, blah, blah. And then Young said, enough is enough. I'm standing up today. Either you kill me or you stop this demolition. This guy should stop being an activist. You know, he's now an elected official. He's this. When will it stop? We are not looking for your validation or your approval. When you do stuff like that, that duplicitousness and that hypocrisy, and people call it out, they start saying, they always insult. When you say something, they attack you. It's because when there's something to be said, you don't say anything until we react, and then you start coming out, giving people all kinds of excuses. Who did we insult? Tell them to cite you one instance of insult. The one they will come up with is, oh, why do they keep calling Barrow Dinkurum? Barrow is the one who said it. Ni fafate mon kuno or ni fala korlater, umuyel Dinkuruyal. And then you, the same person, you get up, took a pickaxe and a hammer and a marto, and then you start to demolish your father's compound. What are we going to call you? Dinkurum. You set the standard. So if you violate it, we're going to call you that. If you see wrong and you don't condemn it until it is coming from the side that you do not like, then you start talking about it, people will call you a hypocrite. That's not insulting. That's just identifying who they think you are. It's not because people don't engage with you, that doesn't mean they don't see what you're doing online. They see it. And when they see the duplicity, they call it out. If you don't like that, you say it's an insult, fine. But what you cannot do is silence us. And then you have one idiot. Because of all that undermining that they do into the local government administration, that is why when that Senator Martin Sonko was convicted of committing crimes at KMC, they kicked her out. They sent the police to go and break down the doors of KMC to force her on them, which the courts recently declared as unconstitutional. But what did Barrow do? Took her to North Bank region, which is manned by an NPP. Tell me, when did you see in the news anything that North Bank regional government office did for the people of North Bank? I'm from there. I'm going to start that noise anyway. What did they do? Look at Basse Area Council. What happened there? What are they doing? The guy from Kuntauru was trying to stay here illegally. When the noise was so much, that's when he decided to go back. Half-Die was an NPP guy, which led to this by-election. He absconded. Nobody is saying anything about that. But he's actively undermining these local governments. When Yankuba Dawo went after Jonga for all the corruption he was engineering, what did they do? They tried to force him there. When that didn't succeed, they moved him to Basse. Whoever is corrupt, you are my friend. That's what Barrow does. So actively undermining those local government authorities is what this idiot tried to do yesterday. You are online, provoking them, calling them names, labeling them. They have their event that you are not invited to, and you decide to show up there to do some kind of propaganda that is going to undermine what they are doing. If that was a government project, why can't the government set up their own inauguration project? Call their supporters and go there. You don't go there on the same day that people are trying to inaugurate their projects, being happy and dancing about it, and you go in there with camera crew trying to lie about what is going on there. What do you expect will happen? You probably don't think we're human, but we are. We consider ourselves as human beings. There is a reason when there is a football match or a soccer game, the home team goes through one entrance and the visiting team goes through a different entrance. Ask the people of Banjul and Bakau. In the 80s and 90s, when there was a football match at the Independence Stadium, what happens? Because in such environments, the tension is high, it's volatile, it's prone to violence. Your team is either losing and you're angry, or you feel like the referee is being unfair to you and you're angry. And then you see the other people jubilating something that is hurting you. What is going to happen? It's going to lead to violence, potential violence. That's in fact the reason why the IEC tells all the parties to submit their schedules to the IEC so that they can separate the political parties. One goes on the North Bank, the other goes on the South Bank. So they don't meet because it's a volatile situation. So how come you, who is online, on WhatsApp, on TV, on radio, everywhere, insulting a group of people, denigrating them, labeling them, lying against them, and then suddenly they have an event where they're going to be jubilating and celebrating, and then you show up to that event and expect that nothing is going to happen to you? Excuse us for being human. But wherever that happens, they ask for it. That is what happened when you hear Ajame saying, oh, they murdered somebody here and then I forgave them. He was lying. Nobody murdered anybody. They attacked people, ambushed them during the Baba Job days, July 22nd Youth Movement, that led to the death of one Aliun Jai, I think that was his name, a taxi driver, during the UDP campaign. That went to court. It was declared as self-defense, basically no case to answer situation there. Why? Because people were provoked. So when we come out and saying, never again, we're not going to stand for this anymore, what Yahya Jammeh did to us is not going to happen again, all we are saying is follow the rule of law. When 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏𝒆𝒍 was taken out of the National Assembly, we didn't protest and go burn down the National Assembly. Everybody stayed calm. How many times are they attacking 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏, taking him to court back and forth, in and out? Did you see us do anything? No. We go show our solidarity and we come home peacefully. How many times did they arrest Ibrahim Adiba? Did you see us go out and do anything? No. How many times did they attack UDP supporters? Take them to police stations illegally, detaining them. Did you see people do anything? No, because we are law-abiding people. If you cannot handle the fact that we are online speaking, get out of public office. It's that simple. Our job as opposition politicians is to tell you that the government is doing this, they are not supposed to do it. If the government feels like we are lying against them, let them come out and clarify. But when they clarify, they lie some more, we tell them what you're saying is lying. Or what you're doing is lying again. That is not an insult. It is the job of opposition everywhere in the world. Government did this, it is wrong. Here's an alternative way to do it. Government is doing this, it is corrupt. The government's job, come out and tell people the reason we did A, B, or C, the reason we gave President Barrow the Chief Justice's piece of land in Cape Point is because A, B, or C. No, that does not comply with the law. And then they come back. Yes, it complies with the law. Here's the section. No, this is the other section that is relevant. No, let's go to court. Supreme Court declares, is it valid or not? And then we hold our bags and go home. And then you start online, oh, a team of lawyers, they lost the case again. That is how it is supposed to operate. But you do not undermine people, attack them constantly at every turn, trying to undermine everything that they're doing and expect them to just lie down and take it. Those days are over. That's basically what we're saying. If you want things to go accordingly, follow the rule of law. There's a reason it's called the rule of law. The people who implement it are the people in power who are supposed to rule. They have to abide by the law. If they don't, they are setting a precedent that we don't follow the law, you don't have to follow it. Because they have all the state power, they can abuse the law and then everybody's just fold and, you know, sit down and accept it. That's not going to happen. UDP is not that party that will do that. We are a political party registered. We will go on our campaign and say that the government is doing this, is wrong. That's our mandate. But we can put on an activist outfit as well when that is what the occasion demands. Yeah, Jammeh knew all about that and we'll still do that. So like I said, the party can disintegrate in 50 different pieces. But the people who are speaking like us, we are Gambians and we will continue to speak. So what is the government going to do then? Start banning us? That's how it happens. You go after your main target, your main, you know, the one you consider your biggest enemy, your biggest threat, you liquidate that, and then you start going after the smaller threats. We'll be the vanguards until that time comes. Anyway, I said I was going to be like 15 minutes because I'm on a lunch break and time is up. So hopefully at the weekend, I didn't come this weekend because of the Solo Sunday Memorial. I didn't want to interrupt that. But we'll try and come back again this weekend and we'll see you then. Don't move. Nobody break the law. Nobody go outside of the law. But like Malcolm X said, you stand up for your rights. Don't let anybody abuse that. If the government is willing to excuse and forgive killers and let them roam our streets, we are not ready to allow the government to abuse our people anymore with impunity. That's just the end of the story. You want, you know, everybody to live cordially, implement the rule of law. Rule according to the law. Dispense justice according to the law. Treat people based on what the law says you can do to them. Don't go outside of the law. Don't abuse the law. Don't do any of that. You do that, you are setting the precedent that everybody should follow the law. You go outside of the law, we start losing faith that the law is there for us. It is not. It is for somebody else, so we have to stand up for ourselves. That is what it creates in society, and then it brings chaos. So when we say the rule of law, I know when you guys were coming here like, oh yeah, he's probably going to condemn the UDP for... No. You don't show up to a place where you're not invited after you provoke those people and insult them and then expect that you're going to walk away. It's not going to happen. So let us focus on what is important. There are people that will just, you know, they will never change. Anything that's wrong in that country is UDP. Whatever the government does is okay. As long as it doesn't affect them directly, which it hardly does for now, it is okay. They are cool with it. Anything else, they can get away with. So ignore those people. Let us stand our ground, abide by the law, continue doing our advocacy. When they do it and it's wrong, we tell you it's wrong. It is up to the people to decide at the polls. If they reject us, we go, get sad for a few days or a few weeks. We come back, we mount it again. That's how it's been since 1996. That's how it's going to continue. We can be in power. Even, I keep saying it, even with UDP in power, I'm going to be monitoring the government. I'll give them a leeway. Maybe when UDP comes in power, the next day you are back there being opposition. We know they're not going to do good. Here's what they're doing. Today they ate Benachin when it's supposed to be Bahal. You start your criticism. I might give them 2 years. I might give them 3 years. And then I'll jump on the bandwagon of criticizing. But until then, government Makeku, we will say it. They do it right. We're not going to praise them. That's their job. It's like, you pray yourself and answer. Why do you expect people to say, oh, congratulations, you pray? That's your responsibility. Pray. Nobody's got, if you don't pray, people will say, why didn't you pray? That is what our job is. Government building roads, fine. But if people are being sick and they cannot find healthcare, why can't we say that the government should be building hospitals instead of roads? Because this is a bigger priority than roads. That is our responsibility. We are not here to praise the government. We are here to point to their flaws. You fulfill your role, perfect. That's what you're supposed to do. You don't do what you're supposed to do, we call you out. It's that simple. If you want propaganda, find your own people to do the propaganda for you. Anyway, thank you guys. We'll see you at the weekend, inshallah.